Hello everyone, I am Rene Chiquete and today I bring you the PP 5 inches or 5.0. The widget has gone through a few different changes and a few bug fixes. I added a few new features and I know that it's been a while since I updated it, so I thought it would be a good Christmas gift to have the new version before the end of the year. And here it is. First, I'm going through the configurations and what this widget is for before we go through the new features and bug fixes. So if you are already familiar with the widget and you just want to know what's new, just go to this timestamp. And for those who are new, just stick around. The first thing that you need to do is to click in the one-click installer that you're gonna see in this YouTube video, or you can go to the description and you can click on that, and that's gonna automatically install the widget on your StreamElements account. Now, it's important to mention that it is very likely that the installation is going to take the widget to your Twitch account. So what you can do is just click on the three dots there. You can click on duplicate and then you can choose between all your different accounts link in StreamElements. So for example, if you have it on Twitch, you can just search for your YouTube account, click on that and then click submit, and that's going to make a duplicate of the widget on your other account. Then you can come to your StreamElements account, switch to the account where you actually want to go, and then you can start editing the widget. Now, what does this widget do? What it does is allow you to upload animations or videos, which then can be triggered by a command or by events on Twitch. For example, everything that you are seeing there are different GIFs that are just being triggered in a chain. So what we're gonna do is, first of all, let me just show you the different features that we have, and I'm gonna show you how you can upload and play around with the different animations and images to get your own pet, your own personal pet. First of all, we have the general configuration, which is everything that is not related to specifically to the images. For example, we're gonna have who can trigger the different commands for the widget. For example, we can set it so only you as the streamer can do it. We can set it so the streamer and your moderators can do it. We can set it so streamer and moderators and VIPs, and finally including also the subs, or to not have any restriction at all, and anyone can just go and write the text, the command for the animations on your chat, and it's going to work. Other than the general blanket restrictions, you can also add users here. For example, if you have one or two friends that maybe they are not subscribers or VIPs or moderators, but you want them to be able to trigger the animations, then you can add their name here. The idea is to separate them by commas. So for example, every name that you're gonna have can be separated by commas, and the names themselves, they can have spaces. Then you can also block specific users. So even if they meet the criteria of the general restrictions, you can block those specific users. For example, in my case, I block StreamElements because I don't want the widget to be triggered by the same commands that StreamElements bot is throwing at it. After that, we are going to be able to configure the chat bubble that you can see when the character is saying things, because other than the animations, you can also configure text for your character to say things when that animation is triggered, which means that each animation also has linked text. For this, you can choose if you want the direction of the bubble to be left or right, which is just going to indicate where it's coming from. Then you can also indicate the font of the text that is going to be appearing in the bubble. Then you're going to be able to indicate how large the font, the bubble font is going to be. And then you can also include the color of the font. Then you can also manipulate the size of the bubble width and height separately. For example, let's say that we are going to play around with an animation. Let's say that you want to see where the bubble is going, right? And then you can just trigger your character to say something by just indicating anything in chat. Now, if you are using this on YouTube, there's going to be a little delay. Eventually you're going to see the bubble. Now, you see that the bubble moved because I was pushing it to the right. So this is the bubble vertical position, which means up and down, and then you have the bubble horizontal position, which is left and right. So if you push it to the left a little bit, so I'm going to push it a little bit to the right, just write any message. Oh, there we go. So now, as you can see, you can play around with the position, because also the widget doesn't really know how large is the character that you have shown on the image right now. The widget knows that you have an image there, but it doesn't know, it cannot auto-detect the face if there is a face in the image. So it's up to you to play around and decide where the bubble is going to come out. As I was mentioning, the text is going to be defined on each of the animation. The widget is configured to be able to store up to 20 animations, and each animation is going to have a lot of configurations. Before we go on each of the different animations, let's go to the general animation configuration. This is where you can tell which is going to be the default animation, the one that you are seeing all the time when the pet is not doing anything. And then you're going to be able to also select the grid animation. Now, the grid animation is the one that the pet is going to do automatically every time somebody comments for the first time during that stream, or better said, since the last time that the pet was loaded onto your browser source. You can select to have a specific animation 1 to the 20. You can select also to disable the grid animation in case you don't want your pet to automatically be greeting everyone every time. Now, in my case, I like the animation 2, which is the animation that I also have selected to be !high. And for this example, if you want this animation to be triggered, you can indicate the specific command that needs to be indicated in your chat for this animation to be triggered on the pet. Then you can also select if you want this specific animation to be triggered with a specific Twitch event, being able to select redemptions of items on your store, a raid, a host, tips, a follower, or if you are a subscriber, or if you just don't want the animation to be triggered by an event and you just want it to be triggered by your commands, then you can select none. Then you have what's going to be the message, the chat, the text that your pet is going to be using. And here you can indicate anything you want, and you can indicate multiple messages, so your pet will randomly take one of those messages that you indicate. So for example, if 2 or 3 people come to the stream and say something, your pet can say something different to each of them, even if it's the same event. And the way to separate those texts is by using a colon. For example, I have hi, and then you see I have the word username, and then welcome username, and then I have hey username. So every time that this specific event is triggered, it's going to choose one of these texts randomly. Now you will also see that I have the word username indicated there. That is because it's already coded that whoever is triggering the command, it's going to also be linked to the word username. So if you put username anywhere in the text, it's going to be replaced by the user that is triggering this animation. The animation itself is just an image, or it can be a video. The widget is always going to check first for an image, and then it's going to check for a video. In this case, images are PNGs or JPEGs or GIF, which is what I am actually using. And you can go here and select the images that you want to use, or you can upload new images. For example, let's say that I want to upload a new character entirely. And for that, let's go to the animation number 1, which is going to be my default animation. You can just select anything, but since it is my default animation, I really don't need a command for it, so I just leave it as it is. There needs to be something in it, but you don't really need to use it because it's always going to be playing. This is not going to be triggered by any event, and it's not going to have any text. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the image, and we are going to use a new character, which is, in this case, I have selected this character called Babyhood, which is from the same game as Felicia from Darkstalkers. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna upload all of these images into the StreamElements cloud. Here, we're going to the upload section up here, and then I'm just going to drop all these images that I already have. Now we already uploaded all of these images, so now we can take each one of them to do different things. Now my standard animation, my default animation is this one, which is already nicely looped and all that. So let's just click submit, and now it got replaced. Do you see? So now we have a new default animation, but if we go and trigger any other of the animations, it's gonna give us the other character because that's what's indicated there. So what we're gonna do is we're going to add more animations to replace Felicia. So let's change it here. This is gonna be, let's say, let's choose this one, which is going to be to say hi. Then let's go to animation number 3. This is gonna be a celebration. So let's see. Yeah, this looks cool. So let's get this one. And now let's try and trigger this. So we can see that the animation number 2 is with exclamation mark high. So I'm going to my chat now and I'm going to write exclamation mark high. And now let's just wait for YouTube to actually accept the command, and then for the command to actually reach StreamElements, and then we can see that it's triggering the animation, right? Now we can hear that the sound is still the same as the one I had before, and that's because on each animation you control several aspects of it. You control the volume, if it's a video for example, you control the image size, you control the vertical and horizontal position. So you can configure how long that animation is gonna be running once it's triggered. Then you can also select the audio. Besides the animation or the audio that you're gonna get from the video itself, if you upload a video, you can also upload an audio file separately from that. In this case, I have this. And of course, I'm not gonna need it anymore because that is not the voice of this character. So I can just click here and eliminate it. Or if you want to upload new sounds, you can click on upload, and just like with the image, you can upload the image, and then in the sound tab, you can select all the sounds that you have uploaded. And every animation here is gonna have the same features. Like every animation slot is gonna have all those features that you can configure separately. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So you can just play around. For example, if you get the same character in two different animations and one is slightly larger than the other, then you can use these sliders here, for example, to adjust the image size or the position, the vertical and horizontal position. If you get all the images with perfect alignment and size, then you don't need to do that. But if you get the images from different places and sources, then it might be useful for you to be able to play around to make it match and fit the sizes and the animation moves. For example, in this case, we have Bibi Hood and she has this specific size. But what happens if we trigger animation again? You can see that this animation is much larger than the default animation. So what we're going to do is we're going to fit the size. A feature that I just added is that now you can select and easily switch between the default animations and the grid animations at all times. So, for example, if you want to start adjusting and ensuring that the animations are matching in the dimensions and in the positioning, what you can do is you can come here to the animation configuration and you can say, okay, I want the animation number 2 to be the default one, so it's always going to be shown. And now you can start playing down here in animation 2. You can come down and start playing with the size. So let's make the size smaller and smaller. Now that seems better. And now we're gonna move the image horizontally and down. What I'm doing right now is once you click on this little blue bubbles or drops, once you click on that, you can use left and right to do adjustments of one unit. So I think that's good enough. Now let's come back here and let's switch the default animation to animation 1, and let's see if it is well dimensioned. Now the dimensions don't look too bad, but the character normally is more to the left, right? Now as you can tell, this is a little bit manual, but the idea is to give you all the flexibility in the world so you can decide how to fit whatever characters or images or badges, or you can even use your stream logo there. You can animate it in different ways and have your stream logo doing different animations and things depending on whatever you want to achieve. Alright, so now let's do it again. Let's go back to this. Yeah, I can see this working now. Let's see. I mean, that looks good. Right now you can see that it flickers because it reloads the image, but if you trigger the animation, then you will see how it actually looks. For example, hi. Yeah, look at that. That looked pretty good. All right, done. Next animation. Now I have way too many tabs here. I'm sorry because obviously I'm getting a lot of noise and a lot of interruption here from other things. But I believe that now you get the idea on how you can use the widget. Now, I was already moving on and I remember that I haven't explained how to get this overlay to your stream. And the way to do that is actually super simple. on the top part of this overlay editor, you will see that there is a little clipboard, and that icon is going to show you copy overlay URL. You can just click on that and you already have the URL ready. And then what you need to do is you need to come to your OBS or whatever program you are using, and then you're going to add a new source. You're going to add a browser source, and then you can add, for example, pp5. Then here you just paste the URL that you are getting, and remember, it's super important that you add it as 1920 by 1080. That is the resolution 1080. That is the resolution that this is already sized and made for. You can put different dimensions in there, but then you're going to have to play around with the size in the overlay editor to make it fit whatever you are doing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Then if we enable this, then you should be able to see a new pet. The last thing that is very important to mention is that, just like I was saying, the character has a grid animation, and it's going to grid each person that comes to the stream and chats for the first time once per stream, or better said, once per source load. What do I mean by that? Well, if you right click on properties or just double click, you're gonna see this window, and you're gonna see that there is a checkbox that says shut down source when not visible. This means that if you have the source in a scene and then you switch to another scene, if this is marked or checked, this is going to shut down the source, which means that all the memory that this widget has is going to be lost. And if you go back to the scene where this widget is, what's going to happen is that your character is going to load again, and it's going to think that every single new message is a new person. To prevent that, my suggestion is to not check that. Now, you can already see down here in the background that there is a wall of text, and this wall of text is where I normally indicate the new features and bug fixes. So specifically new things in the widget in this new version 5 inches is that now it is possible to do the adjustment of the default animation and the grid animation very easily. This new way to do it is, I believe, that it's gonna allow you to play around and to match to fit the images much faster than how it was before, because before you will have to make the adjustment and then go and manually trigger the command every single time, and now you can do it just with the switch of the default animation. I believe that is much more intuitive, much more well, just quicker. Now, as I was mentioning as well, you can also select which is going to be the grid animation, because before the grid animation was fixed to the second animation in the widget, now you can just select freely which one is going to be, or you can just disable the grid animation altogether. And the third feature that I added is that now this is working on YouTube. Actually, this version that you are seeing now is running on my YouTube account, not in my Twitch account. Something very important is that if you are already using the PP3 or 4 or any other version, you can migrate all the data that you already have by just clicking on the widget itself. Just make sure that you find the Open Editor and then click on the Data tab. Now, this tab here, you can just do Control A to select everything, or just right click and just do select all if you have the option there, and then copy that information. And then you can just come to the other widget, to the new version of the PP, open the editor, come here, select everything, delete it, and then paste the information that you copied from the other widget. And that's gonna migrate all your information from, even if it's in a different StreamElements account, you will still be able to grab all of those animations back, so you don't have to reconfigure the entire thing. And yeah, that's gonna be it. I hope that you enjoyed the PP, and if everything goes all right, I should have a few more updates. I want to add support for Facebook and Trovo in the newer versions, and if you have any ideas on how to improve it or a feature that you would like me to add, well, just let me know. The Discord, my Twitter, and you can also add just comments here on YouTube. I will be more than happy to help. Also, if you have issues with any of my widgets, you can just reach out and I'll be more than happy to help you troubleshoot. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you had a great time, and also Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll see you in the next one.